Well, Claire de Lune comment for you. Starting off the morning feeling good. Yeah, so here we are. It is March 3rd, the day of our Lord. Shit. I don't have YouTube pulled up, so I can't see if anyone's even here. But we're gonna get working. We're gonna get sorted out. Got a bunch of catching up to do. Stuff that I didn't watch. Catching up to do. Stuff that I didn't watch. Shit, no, I mute myself. Okay, there we go. Now I mute myself. Hey, I got a new subscriber. That's fun. Thanks for subscribing, whoever you are. Yeah, so I posted some pictures on Instagram. If you follow Instagram, follow me on Instagram. Pretty much picking up with these little goofballs. Where we left off on them, I believe on Friday. So essentially I just went through and I did finish sculpting their little faces. So I did not do anything too crazy. Like there's not an insane amount of detail. I do want them to be just a little waxy. It was mainly just filling in parts that I thought it didn't actually completely take all the pewter and then kind of mold lines. So very basic stuff. Nothing too fancy. The main thing though is just the eyes. That is what we really are going to care about whenever we go to paint them. Which, if I'm being honest, I know it seems kind of crazy with this thing behind it, but that's really what I have started to realize is worth paying attention to, is the things that I want the viewer to look at. The eyes are the window to the soul. They are my sweet, sweet, sweet possum. They are the windows to the soul. Or in these little guys, they're like, I guess they're just holes, just black holes. But black holes to the soul, or lack thereof. But yeah, these little guys are about ready for some paint. I'm going to prime them today, and then as soon as the primer is dry, I'm gonna come in with some white, probably bold titanium if I had to guess, and then a little bit of transparent white, and then I think I'm gonna go with the fluorescence. I think we're gonna be bad. I think we're gonna be crazy and wild and do some fluorescent colors, but do it like on the front. Essentially, try to do some OSL lighting, and then on the back, we're gonna go in with either the Musso Black, or Black 4.0. I don't know which one, but we're gonna go with one of them. That way, it pretty much looks like, ooh, we get naughty with the flow. We are. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be really cool. Because I think I have the right colors. Red, blue, green, yellow, purple. 5. Yeah. But I think they'll look really cool with the fluorescence and then the really stark black on the backs. Like you won't be able to see their back because the light is the source. Or the candle is the source of light. So that is on the agenda for today, as well as painting this stuff, which really I was on the fence about if I wanted to try to do it on stream or not, because I don't know if I want to airbrush. And I'm kind of thinking I don't want to do it on stream because I'm thinking I do, especially looking at them now. And this, so since it's like very flowery, that's definitely, that's good. I like that one a lot, and this one. I like all of them. They're all so good. I don't know. So that's probably what we're going to do this morning, is figure out where these are going to go in that, and then I'll spray paint them. Well, not spray paint them, but airbrush them, paint them. Liquid get some wet look to it. I think there's definitely some hair that might have gotten caught in the spray. So just to bring it up to full speed, I pretty much just took these out in the backyard with a little clip at the end, holding them, and just gave them a good Texas spray down, as they say, which is when you just kind of walk out into the street and spray paint something like a crackhead. Just look like you don't care what anyone thinks. That's Texas spray down, and you're also in public. That's really all it takes. That's not necessary. You don't have to do it in public. You can spray paint in your own home. Don't do that. That's actually not safe at all. You should spray paint in a well-ventilated place outside. I guess if you have like a spray booth. I'm not telling people to spray paint in their house. I'm still waking up. Got a lot on my mind. It's been there. Been there. I'm thinking it through. And this seems like a good spot to kind of work through it. But I have been thinking a lot lately about what I want to do. Not just like job-wise, but just in general, and what I really enjoy and what I love. And it, I guess that. What do I want to do with my life? I have spent a very long time in an industry that I did not like at all or have any interest in whatsoever. It's just more of that. It was difficult, and there was enough to keep me interested that I could keep learning ad nauseum until eventually the industry changed, and that's fine. But just kind of thinking out loud to help anyone else who is in the same kind of thought period that I am while I am fucking around with these. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I've come to the conclusion that I think I do want to do something professionally involving the hobby, involving miniatures, involving art, involving games, involving storytelling at the end of the day, because that is who I am. That is who I always have been since I was a very, very, very small child. As adults, my wife met my cousins, and it's always wonderful, like hearing my cousins tell my wife about the games that I used to come up with when we were like little kids. And my wife's just like, man, that's just the same person. Like it's just I'm a natural storyteller. And I think for a long time, I did not want to be, I didn't want to think about myself or think about things that I'm good at or things that I like, because if you put that out there, then essentially you're putting ammunition out for the world. And I guess I've thought about that a lot. I've thought about who I want to be, not just for me, but for like other people. And at the end of the day, I made more money than I needed at my previous job. Like, I had things that I'm like, man, if I had more money, I could fix this, but I had the money, I just didn't fix them. So it made me realize a lot of things about what I actually need to be happy, and what real happiness actually is. And I think so much of mine, I had tried to band-aid or duct tape over things that actually were not making me happy, or even a lack of actual happiness. At some point, I think, I don't know, it seems like my life has just kind of gone. I don't recall making most of the choices. It just seems like it kind of happened and I just went wrong with it. And that's weird to think about and doesn't seem like it makes sense, but that's kind of how it feels, especially at least with my career, because again, like every job I've ever had, it was just a friend recommended a friend, recommended here, there. And then eventually I'm working in a field that I have no knowledge I really got there, but for some reason, the way that I was raised, my brain gives me dopamine when I do complex problem solving, uh, which is good and bad. It makes it to where I'm very valuable in places I don't want to be. However, it also means that like I was able to succeed in a place I don't want to be. It's just not who I am. And I think I've thought about that more. And I think really at the end of the day, the amount of money that I need to be happy is so much less than like what I think I had told myself it was. Because the money is not what makes me happy. Doing the things that I enjoy make me happy. And in looking about that, a lot of what I enjoy is free. Storytelling is a free thing. You can come up with ideas and stories for free. You just have to sit down. I know. Hold on, Margot's getting in on this. Margot, you got something to add? Not again to make this a big whiny video blog diary, but it's just I'm sharing my thoughts. Yeah, you tell them, Margot. Sharing my thoughts. I want to do something with my life that actually not is meaningful, but because I think that is a big. Trying to guess what the fuck is going to have meaning for other people is insane. Like, I spent 10 years trying to make the world better. Like, legitimately. I did spend 10 years of my life actively giving a shit about where I lived and the people in my area and trying to do the best I could for them because I wanted to help society. So, like, designing, planning the network, it did give me pride. Because when they would meet me, they'd be like, "Oh man, you're the guy, man. No, stuff used to suck out of my house, but now it's awesome. Thank you." And it's just like, "Hey, you're welcome." And that made me feel good. Even though I didn't want to talk to people in the first place because I am a very anxious person. But what is really wild is that while I can do that and I can succeed and I can like impact the world in a job that I hate, doing something that it's just like, well, it lines up because it's difficult and there's a lot of problem solving. So my brain can kind of enjoy this, but I don't actually find any enjoyment in it whatsoever. Doing that has gotten me into a lot of situations that have directly led me to now where I have actually some self-confidence. I can say, wow, that's actually pretty impressive that without a degree, I have humbled 2 boardrooms of millionaires on different occasions because I pay attention to things, because I have an eye for detail. Again, that's not a flex. It's just like I beat myself down a lot in my whole life. And I realize now that if I actually look at myself with the same level of criticism and critique that I do everything else, it's just like, wow, I don't know what the fuck I'm bragging on myself for. Like, I'm pretty cool. And it also makes me realize that, like, I really should give a fuck more about problems. Like, if I'm upset about something, I could probably fix it because I am really good at planning. And at this point, and when I say if I see something I don't like, specifically, I'm talking about in the gaming industry, which is where this whole rant was getting to. I have been a design engineer, not by training by birth. I'm just good at that. Very good at taking complicated ideas and streamlining them down to where anybody can understand them. And really, I've kind of come to the conclusion, it's like, oh shit, that's because that's what I've done my whole life. Coming up with ideas for stories, for games that just were in my brain, getting them out of my brain, and being able to explain them in a couple of words or sentences to my cousins when we were children so we could play a game together and all have fun. Getting my friends over here when I was an adult, when I'm like, oh, if I add dice to it, it seems more like a game. It's not just me telling a story. So you guys feel like you have, anomaly. Not anomaly. My brain is still waking up. I'm really feeling a lot of things right now, but I've been thinking. Agency. Thank you, Possum. Namaste. Uh, Namaste, Possum. Uh, I I really want to make a place on the internet, in the world, for people, for like-minded people. I just straight up, like, no fucking gatekeeping. Like, I am very. I had a really hard time about this aspect of it because I want to make videos showing people how to make models, how to play games with their models, how to come up with lore, I want to make a place on the internet where I show you the things that I love. And I don't want to do it for money. I want to do it because it's what I enjoy. And I think I know that a fuck ton of other people like what I like. I know that they like what I like. I know that they would enjoy what I can come up with. And the amount of stuff that I just lose because I don't write it down, because I don't have enough hours in the day to focus on what I care about versus what I need to work on. I think there's a lot that I could actually bring to the gaming world, but not just from a mechanics standpoint. I don't want to like, oh, this is a really fun game. I want to fix the gaming world. I don't want corporate America coming in and making people think that they have to spend thousands of dollars to have fun with their friends with little toys. That's not true. You don't have to spend anything. You can use trash. And in fact, I mean, most of this was made of trash. And I think that looks better than anything Games Workshop's made in a hot minute. But that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to defend my approach. I want to show the people that don't know how to get into what we do. That's it. I think there's so many people that have come up and asked, how do I start being involved in the 28 scene? How do I do Inc. 28? And I do think that there's a lot of articles out there that are very good at explaining what 28 kind of is. But even then, I don't know if I've seen anyone describe it in how I typically do. But the word Warhammer is not in there. And I think that that's something that took me a long time to really come to terms with because of what Warhammer has been for me. And I do love Warhammer. It is absolutely what started me in miniature wargaming. They were the first models that I ever really built. It got me through a lot of shit. It has got me through a lot of shit, and I do love Warhammer. However, I've hit a point that I don't think that I can say from a logical or any standpoint that I want to continue giving my creativity away to Warhammer's IP. Not because I want credit, but because I don't want a corporation to own my shit. And that's really what it comes down to. I am happy that Warhammer is becoming more popular. I think Monopoly Warhammer is terrible. I'm upset that there is a Monopoly Warhammer. I like that it is becoming more mainstream, but I do not like that because it's becoming more mainstream, they're becoming more corporate America with it. You have to only use our models in how you make things if you want us to look at them after you've painted them. You have to paint them this colors. There's a lot of representation and inclusivity that has been put into it as of late, but it was not there, and they also have not been. I'm not here to dunk on Games Workshop. I kind of want to start with a fresh slate, and that's a big thing with Warhammer is the origins of Warhammer and 40K and the back lore and all that stuff, where it came from. was not all immediately done at the time. And some of it has not aged well. And I think that should be addressed as opposed to kind of addressed, because that's where problems come from. I think the way that they handle the Primaris thing was just bad. That's just my opinion. It's a really valid opinion, though. I have a lot of experience to back that up, that it was a bad choice financially, and I was right. But from a lore standpoint, that's all I'm saying. Model-wise, yeah, we should have stopped making shit-scale Marines decades ago. Anywho, I don't know. It's just a long rant. I am working on coming up with a concept for a game. I've already been working on it. It kind of came to me like a lightning bolt. So I've just been working on that. I'm not trying to try my new game. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just at a point that I want to use my time and my abilities for something that I actually give a shit about and I believe in. And while I love Warhammer, there's only so much that it can give back to me at this point, is where I think I'm at. I think what I want to do, I still love, making Space Marines and stuff like that. But I think as far as artistic, creative designs, while it would be definitely, something I could make more models of the Child Inverted and say that he's a Slaaneshi demon, I really actually kind of want to take that concept and break it out, which I'm very fine with it living in both worlds. But the overall concept of what I'm wanting to do is definitely influenced a lot by I think the closure and everything that I got out of actually putting my inner demons on the table. And I think that is something that I would like to do. I think I would like to help other people in ways that I've helped myself, which I know that sounds horrifying with this looking at you. I'd love to help you like this. But no, I would like to play more in that space. And I would like to create a game where everybody feels like they fit in. And I think that is really what I was getting at, was Warhammer has a lot of different factions and a lot of things. But I think a lot of them, it's very difficult for people to actually relate to. And I kind of want to make things a little more relatable, possibly. I don't know. I've got a lot of ideas. I'm going to start working on them. Today, though, I'm going to be doing painting on these guys and painting on those guys. And probably working on an intro video for my YouTube channel. Yesterday, I finished... I'm not going to pull them out, but it's very impressive. There are 14 of these. 14 of these bad boys that I put all of my bits in. All of my 40K, my Games Workshop GW bits. They are all down here now. So it was organized for the first time. With the exception of that, there's one more box of unorganized bits in my house. And this is it. It's my awful Chaos Demons box, which I can organize, but it kind of seems like against the point, because I should just be like reaching in and grabbing stuff. But that's not how I make anything. No, it's all way more thought through than that. Hopefully my tangents, all I got is your brain, V-Big, trying to formulate a response to your speech. I'm so sorry, Possum. I'm sorry I just talked and talked and talked and talked. I've just been thinking and thinking and thinking about what I want to do. And I love gaming. I love gaming, and I want to help other people play games that, like, when I'm bummed or I'm like, man, what was something fun that I can think of? It's just like, oh, I can think of, something I did. Or, I mean, even just like on a rainy day, like, oh, I think about a game that like I played with my friends. one of my favorite memories of any time. I mean, this was moments in, and it would be instantly. It wasn't a TPK, but it was. We had a player death seconds into the first game we ran of Merkborg, and that's when I was like, "Fuck, this game's so good." They went in. It was the very first Rot Like Sludge. And spoilers, but for real, I think you have a lot of good points and a lot of valid insights. Thank you, Possum. Again, like I for so long have beat myself up, and like beat my self worth down, and it's really fucked up. But that's really kind of like what the corporate world will do to you, because they want to make you feel like you need them, because that's how they get you to work more than you actually want to work. That's how the world does it. It's not just the corporate world. It's anyone that is abusive with power. And I am definitely someone that is very easy to take, advantage of. I'm not saying that's what anyone did. I'm simply saying that I know that there's a lot of people like me that it is very easy to take advantage of them. So I am very sensitive to that, and especially in our community. And I kind of have a little bit of a reputation of being a rabid dog in that, and I am unapologetic on that entirely. If you are remotely trying to come off like you're taking advantage of my community, I'm going to come at you with everything I've got. This is my house. Fuck off. That's it. Like I'm fine with people selling stuff. Selling stuff's fine. I sell stuff. I'm fine with being an entrepreneur. There's a difference though. And I would love to see videos about the storytelling aspects of gaming. I feel like that is exploited, because anyone can tell a story, but I think it's a skill that's fair. And that's so, yeah, thank you, Possum. I guess that's it. Like I've very much realized over the past year, not year, 36 was fucking wild. It was definitely the kind of year that when you're growing up and like you hear an album like Devil and God or Raging Inside of Me, and you're like, oh man, they had 16 friends die in the summer. That's how they wrote this album. It's like, now I get it, dude. Like I had that kind of a year, and it's something I would like to be more in tune with, telling stories. Right. And I'd love to help with that with people. Like I love that. It brings me so much joy. Like storytelling. It really does. I don't know. There's just so much fun that can be had in making little worlds. And having adventures with people that, I think that's it. Whenever I talk to people that are, they've never played role-playing games or they've never played a narrative game, typically, if they have negative opinions about role-playing games, it's if they have played Dungeons and Dragons once or twice in college and it wasn't really good. And that's just like, I'm not dunking on anybody, but that's like the difference between a GM and someone who reads the book. That's everything. But that's not even remotely something that is, I think, reasonable to think that you could just build that as a skill, like by picking up a book. And I don't know how that you would teach that in a book, because so much of storytelling is, and I think that's part of what I love about storytelling. Not to be super derailing, but I'm going to derail. I'm going to tell the story. But I have a very, very stuck in my brain memory of this woman that came to our elementary school when I was in 4th grade, and she told stories with shadow puppets. And she was just this old lady, and she just had these shadow puppets, and some of them were really creepy. And I was just like, man, this old lady goes so hard. I love these shadow puppets. I love storytelling. And I was like, man, that's a cool job. Maybe I'll do that. And I don't know what the fuck happened, man. Also thought I'd be digging up dinosaurs, but I think when I learned that some people don't believe in dinosaurs, I was like, I don't want to waste my life digging up dinosaurs. That was a mean joke. It's not a mean joke. It's just a thing I think. I don't know. That's the other part of me. The other part of me is like, maybe I'm not nice enough to make videos on the internet to try and make people feel good about themselves. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not mean. And I think that's really what I was getting at. With, I think the biggest thing that I want to convey with something that I do, specifically the game that I've just been like word vomiting on my whiteboard over here, and when I have a better, cleaner picture, I will start really working on it. But I think the vibe is everything with the game. And I've really, as you all know, been hung up on that. Trench Crusade is what I'm talking about. Warhammer is what I'm talking about. Trench Crusade more so, but Merkborg is like one of my favorite vibes though, because it's just, you know what you're getting into. It's just a rowdy, rough bunch, and if you die, you die. It's just supposed to be fun, and I absolutely love how much it has taken off, because it absolutely shouldn't have. That book is everything about that book. If you told me that it would become one of the most like respected role-playing games on the planet, I'd laugh in your face, because just the actual, I had the first one I got was the Kickstarter, so it's leather bound. That one looks more intense, and I'd be like, no, there's no way, no parents are going to buy this for their kid. But the one that's like the standard version, that's like highlight, like fluorescent yellow, it's just so visually assaulting and against what the industry would ever tell you you could make. And that is why, I mean, I loved it from the start because of how dark it was. But what really got me was the unapologetic direction they took. And I think that is a big thing for me. I never want to compromise. And I mean that in all aspects. In my models, I'd rather make something entirely. I'd rather shave my head and use my own hair if I can't find the right hair. I don't want to make the same model again. I'm going to die. Like, factually. Eventually, I will go in the ground. And what I've done is what I've done. And I'm cool with that. Like, so I don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm fine with like, oh yeah, well, what about a unit of Space Marines? Yeah, man, I can spray paint them. I'm going to give them we're going to play some games with these boys, but I'm not going to put this in the cabinet next to the Child Inverted and Frustration. I'm sorry. That's just not how I'm going to do gaming these days. But I definitely, I don't know. I think I have enough stuff that I want to show people how to do, that I think that's enough, that it'll be the thing. And I really, again, I would like to make more videos. I'm going to start making videos about how to GM, about how to the verbal skills. That's what the whole rant about why I love the storyteller that came, is because that is what made me really think about storytelling. I think for the first time, is it made me think about verbal storytelling versus reading. And there's just so much more to telling a spooky story around a campfire versus like reading it, from a book. And that, I think, really is what gaming is. It could be like, oh, you just want to pretend or whatever. You can look at it in a bunch of dumb ways if you would like to, for people who do not like gaming. But really all it is like tabletop miniature gaming is storytelling with visual aids. That's all it is. That's all really any board gaming is. Some board games tell a better story than others. Monopoly, you tell the worst game. We can see how your game goes. I'm waiting for the guillotine. It'll be fun. But yeah, so I'm really not dejected with the industry, the gaming industry these days, but when talking to other people whose like opinions I really like value, like they're like, yeah, the world does not need more Warhammer YouTubers. And it's just like, yeah, that is the last. I don't want to be a Warhammer influencer. That's actually the last thing I want to be. I want Games Workshop to know not to send me their models because I'm trying to kill their industry. That's really what it comes down to. I don't want people to make money off of my community, like in a predatory way. And I think that there's a lot of things that the industries are doing because that's what every big corporation does in any industry. And I don't want that to happen. So I think I'm going to try to be the change that I want to see in the world. Right on, brother. Thank you, Eric. So that's kind of where I am with it. I've started to think about all the people that I've met, not just in like my personal life, but like my professional life. And it's kind of weird to be like, yeah, if I wanted to make a game, I think I know everyone I need to. And I think we could fix the problem of bloat by not having someone just making money at the top. If we just have people that only give a shit and care about what they're doing, then we probably aren't going to be trying to have six-figure salaries. Which is something that I never got to that point, which is kind of a little bit of pride for me, that I never hit a six-figure salary, but I still can say that I made too fucking much money for what actually I need to be happy where I live. Now, I realize that for everybody, that's not the same. I live in a pretty poor part of the country, but yeah, very exploited labor. But yeah, so the amount of money that I actually need to work is very low to be happy. I get a lot of my happiness from teaching and showing and in experiencing, and I've really come to terms with that. I've from way cries in California. I can't even imagine how joke my salary was compared to an average expense of living in California. I can only imagine. There was a guy that lived in California that worked like remotely. I can only assume he made like 5 times what we made, just because of the cost of living. But yeah, it's wild. The world's a wild place. Hopefully, my rant has not been a bummer. It's been a wild ride, an emotional one. Oh, but these, Nick, Hydra, they are not metal, but they are airtight. These actually, fun story, Clay, another brother in aquarium arts, Clay Paris, Super Claymation, Thrin Odyssey Clay. The other day we were talking about something, and that's why I brought this up. Plants, that's what it was. These had I bought some for a brief moment when my hobby area was over there. I had a scrimp tank, which would be shrimp, but you use a K instead of the H, making it funny. That's the joke. Scrimp. So I had a scrimp tank, a 7-gallon scrimp tank next to my work desk, so I could be working. And then, like, when I'm just like, man, I've entered way too much existential dread for this point in my day, I'd look over at these scrimp aliens and they would cheer me up. Because that's the thing. If you've never watched shrimp, like little freshwater shrimp, you got them. Because they are weird. They're real weird. They're always doing something, and I never have figured out what they're doing. Like, they always have so much certainty in their life, but I'm still just like, what are you doing? And they have so many little hands, and they're always touching and eating and touching. I love them. I just love them. So I had a whole bunch of shrimp. I don't have many shrimp these days. I've only got 4 shrimp. A lot of my shrimp, the blue ones actually did not reproduce because that tank was a little Metroid dudes. Oh yeah. I'm ashamed to say how much Metroid I have not played. I really I owe it to myself to go through those games. My buddy Ed, he had a half sleeve. I guess it wasn't half sleeve. It was just a shoulder piece. It was a really big shoulder piece though, but it was really sick. It was I don't understand. I don't understand it because I never played, but I knew it had something to do with Metroid Prime. But it was this like very Horus-looking Egyptian bird figure holding like this scarab. It was a dope, sick tattoo, and he got lots of compliments on it from people who knew what Metroid was. I didn't though. I was just like, that is real cool though. Uh, yeah, I really need to go back and play Metroid. I love sci-fi. So yeah, that's another thing. Is I want I want to make a game that like we don't have to worry about people being like, oh, between the bolter and me, that bolter's too small. It's just like, yeah, what if I based the things in my game around stuff that I actually know about as an engineer, which I don't want to give away too much on the farm, but that is pretty much the gist is I kind of want to make a game that shows you where we're headed if we don't fix the world. And I've got a lot of ideas that I think are very unique and original and very meta. If you know how I am, I love the line between reality and game to blur. I really like my games to feel like experiences, like once in a lifetime experiences. And that is what I want this game to feel like. And that is what I want to encourage in the gaming community. So I've pretty much, it is 7:27. I got 13 minutes to finish talking up here. I'm not going to do any painting on the stream today, but I will film painting it today. Yeah, I'm pretty much from now, I think I talked about this a little bit on Friday, maybe. I don't remember. It's been a long weekend. A lot happened. But I am in a very pivotal point where I am no longer going to be with the company that I'm currently at on March 28th. That is the last day that I will be employed with my current company. Until then, I am on the payroll and I want to hit the ground running. BD. I really am going to take this time and use it to try and build my brand and use it to try and build a community, culminating in Adepticon on the 26th. I am riding up with Clay, who is, again, I'm not trying to, it's weird, and I was talking to my wife about this, but the Bader-Meinhof effect is the idea that if I mention lichen to you, you will hear the word lichen or come across it more often in your life after I've mentioned it to you. This is technically not true, it's just now you're aware of it. But is it? It's a very, I've always really enjoyed it, but Bader-Meinhof, the Bader-Meinhof effect, the idea that after learning about something, it now appears more regularly in your life. And that whole conversation pretty much came to having the talk with my wife that I feel like the past year has just been nothing but one person who I really value over, like, just a person that I value their opinion. One person after the next telling me things nice about myself that, like, I'm like, man, okay, maybe I should believe in myself. And it's kind of like that, where it's just like, the more I'm like, hey, I think I could do this, more people are reaching out across the internet and across the oceans and the world to be like, hey, man, I like what you're doing, and I want to be a part of that. And that's weird and alarming, especially for someone like me who is very anxious and, I mean, kind of paranoid because I don't want to get, screwed over. The world is very cruel and vicious at times. But at the same point in time, all the people that have like really reached out recently and have shown interest in what I'm wanting to do are people that I'm like, that is a guy that like I followed for like a decade. Like there are people whose art I loved. So it gives me the idea that I'm doing the right thing. Also, that's not me dunking on Warhammer. I love Warhammer. I just think that I am ready to put my creative storytelling focus on something of my own. Uh, I love the 28 community, absolutely, and I absolutely will keep doing things in there, and absolutely with Asterion. I definitely want to. I want to start working on something that's mine. And actually, let me rephrase that. I want to start working on something that's ours. Like at the end of the day, I can't fucking take it with me. That's really where I've come down to. Not to go full on existential dread mode with you guys at 7:32 in the morning before you start your days that we all die, and you might as well make a game for the rest of the world to enjoy. But no, that I guess I really do. I want to make a game that makes people think about the game and as well as the real world, and that's also kind of why I wanted to have it based in a more near future than perhaps the 41st millennium. I kind of wanted to make a game that shows you what happens when we fuck up and what leads to the 41st millennium. So it's more of like 1,000 years in the future, like 3025, if I was just throwing out a number. Like 3025 BD. All right. I don't know how much more I can really ramble and bamble, but I very much enjoyed being able to just talk. So I very much appreciate your little Metroid dudes. I really should learn more about Metroid. He's got a big battle tech. Oh. Oh my god, Puzzle, that was such a good joke. That would be so funny. That would be such a good bit. Man, that's what I should have done. Oh, that is hilarious. It's just Battletech. I just come back with a video that's just Battletech, and I try to act 3080 technically. Oh man. Okay. Whew. That actually might be something funny. I might actually have to do a competition like that. Who can find the funniest thing that I could present as my new game that is something that's just stolen? Just do essentially what corporate America does with fucking everything. Chess. It's my new game. It's called Black versus White. We're not going to call it that. Chess. Yeah, terrible. I'm tired. 3000 AD. What is 3000 AD? Wait a minute. Would that be 3000 AD? Like, as in, like, the year 3000? Yeah, so, like, 3025 BD? My wife came home and looked at the whiteboard. We went out to social on Main and then to the bar, I think. We might have just gone to the bar. I think we only went to the bar with our friends Sam and Lissy, and I had a great time on the weekend. And I had a not great time yesterday. But during the great time and the not great time, a lot of thoughts came unbidden into my little brain, and I love the third secession war. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, third secession war. Is that? I don't know. I don't know if the third secession war is a reference to like the inevitable next civil war, or if that is like something BattleTech related. That's man. Also, Robotech, BattleTech. I love mechs. Love them. I don't know the difference. And I played a shit ton of Mech Warrior. I will say, man, I love Mech Warrior. There is a very key part of my childhood in 3025. And oh, is it? Man. So I should pick a different year. Well, I can tell you there are some very key differences in my 3025. I'll just show you what I got. I'll just keep working on it, and I'll show you what I got, and we'll see if it's okay. But yeah, lots lots of things to do. I've purchased. So I guess, yeah, I think I might have already mentioned that. But with, I actually, no, I didn't. I'm really bad at this. I need to write things down, but I start to write things down and then I get derailed. Uh, exactly, Margot. Thank you. Speak, girl. The truth. It's time for the people to hear it. Yeah, you tell them. We won't be silenced. We came up with Battletech all on our own. Like last week. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Shit, Margo, what were we talking about? Battletech. I was talking about Cyberpunk. I was talking about stuff that I really like. Demons, Flash Beasts. Why we all should have been really scared of AI like 10 years ago. I don't know. There was something in there. I remember now. I also make music. I'm a musician. I do a lot of things. That's a little more go back kisses. So, I make music, as a lot of you may or may not know. I do that for Modern Synthesis. They're all over my face from choosing on Margo. Make music for Modern Synthesis, The Wires, between the Vulture and me. Honestly, if you're in the 28 scene and you need music, I make music, and I have extremely reasonable rates. If not, I'm just bored and I'll make some music for you because I'm a good dude and I like to help out the community. But yeah, I am planning on, I want what I put forward, that's not an ad of me making music for you. I want to make music to accompany games. I want to put forth full package. Like I want to put forth a full concept. Similar to how Merkborg had like the soundtrack, which is fucking banger from Noel. That soundtrack's so killer. If you've not listened to the Merkborg soundtrack by Noel, go listen to it now. It's Dungeons and it fucks. It's so good. Period. Not period. Put it on vinyl. I don't like cassettes. I don't not like cassettes. I just don't. I don't like cassettes. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm sticking to that. That's me. I like records. I always have. I also like Laserdisc. I'm gonna die on that hill too. I want a copy of The Thing on Laserdisc. I'm just gonna start saying what I want into the internet now. I'm just gonna lean really hard into the Bader Meinhof thing, where I'm just like, I am Bader Meinhofing my way into people's minds. Get me The Thing on Laserdisc, not as a gift, like the industry. I want them to bring it back. All right, I got like a minute. I'm gonna stop here. Pog out for Laserdisc, boys. Pog out. Pogs, dude. Slammers. If you know about Pogs, you know about Slammers. I'm going to bring some Slammers to Adepticon. I'm going to bring fucking Pogs to Adepticon. What am I doing with my life? Why am I not bringing Pogs to Adepticon? So yeah, that's a thing. I'm going to find my Pogs, and everybody else, you find your Pogs, and I will hold a Pog thing at Adepticon. It won't be on the books. It will be like back alley crack deal kind of stuff. And I'm going to pretend to be a goblin. That's the story. Stickers out, custom Pogs in. Yeah, no, I do still want stickers. Oh no, it's 7:40. I gotta go make some coffee. But I do still want some stickers. I have been messaging someone on Instagram who did stickers of. No, she didn't. Someone else did these, but I love this sticker. It's a certified yapper. She did other stickers that are kind of like that have a kitty on them. But I really want a sticker that is. I know Margot is typically the one who's down here hanging out with us, but Theodore, my eldest son, who is the large fluffy Maine Coon, I really want a drawing of him laying on his stomach or laying on his back with his like belly up, and his little hands out and like a real goofy look on his face. And then I want in like font that goes around him, I want the font to say, like, if you got punched so hard, it just turned you into a mist, or it turned you into a blood mist and a red, wet skeleton. Yeah. Just, that's it. Man, this was a long one. I ranted and raved. I'm sorry, guys. But you all have a good one. I'm going to work on getting this. I'm going to work on trying to put my ideas into easier to read things or pictures. I'm going to do some pictures. And yeah, going to make some music. I've been learning how to sculpt digitally with Nomad. That's another thing. I picked up an iPad, so I'm going to start doing digital sculpting. I've already done a lot of digital like kit bashes, but I've never done physical just sculpts. So hopefully this is not too much, but hopefully you all are digging the vibe. I look forward to seeing more. I love having someone to talk to about it. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one, okay? I will see you all later.